It's September 12th, 2021. I just got back. I did my second walk so far in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, so far today. And I started, between my first and my second walk, I was watching Sunday morning. Linda and Lou had it on. Part of it was on Memorial, but it did not get stuck in gear at Memorial. It showed some footage that I didn't ingest, let's say, the first time with the same filter, the same keen eye, per se. And I noticed, because I was in New York during September 11th. I was living out in Lake Grove, 2 Miller Drive to be exact, 11775. I'm sorry, 11755. Benjamin was only like a year and a half, maybe, almost 2. Daniel was not here yet. It wasn't even a thought. I was really unhappily married. And I was working in Great Neck, which is New York, which is zip code 11021. Day the towers went down, I was in Great Neck. I had just pulled into the parking lot. I was driving a big, ugly, old Oldsmobile. I think it was Oldsmobile Sierra, which Jason's parents had gifted us. It was like red maroon inside, red maroon outside, metal. It was actually a really nice vehicle for the class of whatever I'm living in. But anyway, my point is that when the workers at Ground Zero were cleaning up the debris, there was a lot of smoke in the background, like a lot of dust that kept getting kicked up. And the words I kept hearing this morning was that it was the machines that were working. They were working one area, like they were working one thing, but it was the machines that were kicking up all the dust. That was their way of explaining it as humans. And I'm thinking, all right, well, when I did go to, like, there could be trace elements that blew to Bayside, but I did not see big clouds of, like, volcanic ash or dust in the air in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. I went daily to Great Neck, New York, 11021, inside their office building. I did not see gigantic volcanic ashy clouds that matched Manhattan's in the actuality of we don't share the same sky. There is a way, like, because there's been talks of gigantic volcanic eruptions that blackened the skies and traveled continents and then fell and settled down on other continent and other lands. I've heard these humans say these things before. I have no proof of them. They may. But my point in reporting this is that in New York on September 11th and then the whatever around that, there seems to have been some form of biodome drawn for health purposes, for containment and contaminants, and having its own signature system set up. And so this way, other outlying areas would not be or ingest things that they're not set up for. So I stayed in Lake Grove, but I had to drive in 5 days a week to Great Neck to have a day job and collect a paycheck, which was not very much, for answering phones and customer service, like Linda did her whole career, but it was peanuts that I received. And I think Jay wasn't working, or he was working in he got a job in Melville at some point. I think at that point he wasn't even working. So I was supporting the whole household on my meager little salary of whatever it was, and taking care of Benjamin, and trying to avoid company of Jay. Like, I really did not want to spend time with him. I didn't want Benjamin to spend time with him. I was enjoying having Benjamin like my little monkey that I just carried around with me. He was in the car with me in the morning, in the afternoon. I took him to school when it was pre-K time. And I followed him throughout his entire IEP in New York City. So anyway, so I stopped today, September 12th, 2021, to NYPD, and I had a conversation on surveillance camera. I did this on outside surveillance before I crossed the street on one set of cameras, so the under surveillance camera of where I was standing would be queued up properly, or whatever, barcoded in a proper fashion and not just lost in the sea of nobody gives a shit. So that happened, and then in this like roast beef and wild like turkey bird war that I'm not really a part of, something else completely. Let's think about this. So oh, and I did mention to him as well about the groping just recently. I said, now let me ask you a question. I said, I have some stuff on social media, you know, I'm looking for work. I put some stuff online. I was like, I did get a call from some weird guy who said he wanted to give me a hug. I'm like, I'm not into that kind of work. And I hung up, and that was the end of that. I was like, but when I moved back to Bayside, somebody, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if it was social media or if it was a job website or what it could have been. I was like, I also handed out some resumes, but some guy called me from a tech company, and said that he was looking, you know, what he knew I needed to work so we could see what we could do. So I met with him. He drove to the Starbucks parking lot. I got out, and then he wanted to, before I'm ready to go in, and he wanted to talk by the trunk, and then that's when he grabbed me, and I mean, like that, it's unwanted, unprovocated, like grab and like holding me close, like trying to kiss me. I was like, and I did have local witnesses at the other end of the parking lot. I was like, but I was like, was not okay. I was like, what qualifies for, like, I mean, he's like, well, you probably should have, you know, it was a criminal. I'm like, I don't know what defines criminal. I was like, I didn't want to be touched. I didn't ask to be touched. I didn't think it was going to become that creepy and gross. But then, I mean, like, you know, I mean, you humans, it's just, I never know with you. And so it's like, so that happened, but that happened in local area. So I was like, so, I mean, I've had other stuff happen as well, but I don't know what's considered criminal. Like, what do you report? And I said, I've come to the precinct before. I've reported a lot of different things that I've documented just by verbal conversation surveillance camera with you gentlemen and a few ladies. But I was like, you know, when do you take paperwork or when do you file a report? I was like, I don't like filing false reports. I don't like, you know, like being passively aggressive. I don't like, you know, confrontation. I was like, but I also don't like being grabbed in a parking lot by some guy I don't know, and I would never even let you touch me if I knew that's where you all where you were going with it. I mean, it's like disgusting in New York. There's like no morals, no ethics, and no cleanup ever of all the creeps. So, so anyway, so he's like, yeah, no, he's like, I've been here before where you've come to talk, you know, and about some stuff. So I'm like, yes, I don't know where the line is of what you report, when it becomes something criminal. I was like, I don't have education on this stuff. I was like, you guys are the professionals, which is why I come talk to you. So anyway, so it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. Still for me at this point. I'm just trying to piece my way through it with the help of NYPD, which I thank, and the FDNY when I can. Oh, and on my way, which I didn't tell the NYPD guy, but as I was walking back from my second walk, there was an FDNY tactical unit parked over by the train station, by the overpass, and on the back it had a red robot, said robotics, and I couldn't read what the other one said, but when I looked in, it was a turkey looking colored meat guy and a turkey looking colored meat woman, and the guy was looking away from me, the girl looked straight at me, she was driving, and I have no idea why they're out in Bayside. I don't know what that unit's for. I mean, robotics, are we talking like anime robotics? Are you recording public like discrepancies? Or are you here to do habitual stuff to show that the lines of symmetry in the sidewalk aren't right? Are you writing schematic and diorama? I mean, like, what do you have these units for if they keep reporting back going like, I don't see anything? I mean, I could walk down the street and somebody sent me a neutrino on the back of some guy's calf that's not even, I mean, he's not really roast beef, but he's towards that whatever. And I can see that his calf is not benefiting well in the environment along with my turkey self. And so I'm reporting it on his behalf, since I know when he's walking, he can't see the back of his own calf. And I can see it's not a healthy motion for muscle to be swinging in a horizontal. If it's on an x-axis that it's swinging, it's going from positive to negative in a weird swing this way. But I know it's not supporting the y-axis in a positive to zero plane fashion, which then hurts his articulated joints, which is stuff that I'm in like foreboding, like morbid rigidity and morbid obesity, and I can't get out of this regime because the single and separated biodome is programmed and quantifiably sending signals to my stock of pig, let's say, with this nose, that is like, or I'm a pig eon, let's just put it that way. And I'm having problems that I shouldn't have encountered before, but now I'm documenting it because if I'm speaking human, it looks lazy. L-A-Z-Y, like lack of motivation, lack of this, lack of that. Yeah, got it. Okay, great. But that's how this biodome was sequenced for my pig eon, and I'm not agreeing with it. It's just how they set up the script and subscript to interact with my animate, which I'm not agreeing to, and I never said I was going to do this. I just don't know how to get the fuck out of it. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11261. I'm going to pause this, see if I can find that 911 grab. Oh, my knees are cracking. And so are my feet at certain points. Oh, there it is. Fuck. Oh, it hurts to put the weight on it. And there's no signs of trauma from past sports or whatnot. I never used to run on the treadmill. I specifically was joint careful, and I was on the elliptical. So this way it had a fluid motion. It didn't have impactful stomping that then somebody could try to disqualify me for.
I want to ask you about the tragedy.
All right, I'm pausing this for 1 second. Okay, if you look right here, here's the worker covered in dust, and then back here is this big cloud. the thing about volcanic ash, the composition of it is, the charcoal in it is what sometimes they use on filters. And depending on the debris, I mean, the way that the static charge in the air is, it can be used as a health monitor and a health filter to alleviate the biology working around in it. It doesn't work the same as what your human mind would conceive based on who set up the biodome and the signatures within the project. This is more 9/11. This was not this amount of, like, almost, I call almost volcanic, but it's building debris, dust, or whatever this is called in the signature piece. Bayside, Queens, Bayside Station, New York, did not have the same air quality, and Great Neck, New York, did not have the same air quality. And out all the way out in Suffolk, Long Island, in Lake Grove, we did not share this same particulate ratio in the air. When you have small debris particulates, we did not share in any of this. We had more clean air. I don't know if there's trace elements in the signature. That's always possible, but there should not be. If there were trace elements in Nassau and Suffolk and parts of Queens, that would be to some form of sabotage or pulling off of a system that is designated for certain disaster areas and disaster zones to protect the emergency service workers in whatever larger operation is going on. So, hold on a second.
Sometimes faulty memories to share or not to share on the anniversary or any day of the year. We might tell our stories to hold back the eraser tip of time.
Oh, so there.
Recovered from the rubble. The hum of the refrigerated trucks outside the morgue. The acrid smell. The funerals.
This was the initial falling of the debris, but when they were working cleanup, which they showed earlier, just so we are clear on, there's two different types of atmosphere and biodome going on, so there's no argument. Where is this? There it is. This is it. It like hung in the air, and I've heard them say that before. Again, I don't have first account. This is the first responders are the ones that lay that foundation of what was and what wasn't, because I wasn't in that particular zip code or that particular biodome and that particular filtrate. I'm reporting from outside where we didn't share the same biodome or the same sky at the same timing mechanic. I was outside of that field. For that matter, Rus Asha. I was out of the Rus being the field of study. For not that, again, some of these statistics are not for challenging, they are to clear one's name in, we have bigger mechanical problems going on, and there's like nothing getting done. So now you've got some form of superhero fund and superhero list and Rolodex, since you couldn't explain to them before how you were finding superheroes and just knew that they were made in heaven or the stars correctly before their birth. I mean, I tell my children all the time, I'm like, I knew you were going to be different before we even got here, but that's because I'm not human like Nono and Grandma. They're a problem set, and we had solutions coming into this with some people I thought were going to be helpful, but they seem to have disappeared. That story is very easy, and that actuality and reality is very easy to explain to them. I just don't have information past how I'm going to ever get them into a successful position based on the fact that the mission in New York has been so horrifically under attack on so many fronts, and the people from the inside sometimes feel like they're self-defeatists. They feel like they're super alphas, but they're tearing down the protection that was woven for them by fighting the wrong fights. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's September 12th, 2021. Bayside Station, Bayside, New York.